Number one is caffeine. So in the form of coffee, I usually drink a cup of coffee, strong coffee, about an hour before a run. In particular, those long runs or those interval sessions, those speed workouts. It really does sharpen the focus. It just gives you that edge. It just gives you that mental clarity where you need it, especially during those longer runs. And obviously during a marathon, you can consume caffeine in the form of gels. So lots of gels do have a little bit of caffeine in there. You can also get caffeine from drinking tea. So if you don't like coffee, you can have tea. And caffeine is actually in dark chocolate. So if you like dark chocolate, maybe get your caffeine hit from there. But you don't want to overdo it. Obviously, caffeine can cause issues. So you don't want your tempo run to turn into a toilet sprint. You don't want those jitters. And obviously, if you run late at night, you may just need to watch the amount of caffeine. But caffeine for me is a super supplement that I just think gives me an edge. And next up, it's creatine. So one of the most researched and studied supplements on the planet. There are literally thousands of research papers that are saying that if you take creatine every day, it's going to have a massive impact on your running performance. What was once usually meant for gym goers has slowly crept into the running world in the last 4 or 5 years. And I usually take 5 grams of creatine daily. I take it in powder form, so I drop it in a glass of water and I take it about an hour before my run. And I've been taking creatine for around about 6 months now, and I have definitely noticed an improvement, especially on those interval sessions, those speed workouts. In the later reps, if I'm doing a 14 by 400 meter run, I've noticed that in the later reps, I'm still as strong as I was when I started. So I think creatine is a major supplement that could really help you running, especially for your sprint sessions. And it's also meant to be very good for your cognitive functions as well. So it's good for your mind. And there are concerns that creatine will bulk you up. It won't, not if you're a runner. If you take 5 grams a day, apparently it won't bulk you up. It can make you feel quite bloated. That's because creatine can absorb all your water, and it can also make you quite thirsty. So if you take creatine, you may need to top up on your hydration. And if you don't fancy taking creatine in powder form, in supplement form, you can find it in foods such as red meat, tuna, and salmon. So next up is collagen. So I take collagen in the form of tablets, and I usually consume it with a glass of vitamin C, which is meant to help with absorption. So collagen is basically a protein in your body that keeps everything together. And collagen is a Greek word for glue, so it holds everything together. And it maintains the structure, the strength, the elasticity of your skin, your tendons, your joints, your bones, and cartilage. And as we age, we start to lose a little bit of collagen. And as we age as runners, we probably lose a little bit more collagen. So I found that taking collagen just keeps everything fluid, keeps everything really elastic, no pains in the hips, no joint pains. And collagen actually helps reduce any chance of injuries. So I've been taking collagen for around about 8 months, and touch wood, I've not had any injuries at all since I've been taking it. So I think collagen is really useful, especially if maybe you're a slightly older runner. It just keeps everything smooth. It just keeps everything ticking along. You can find collagen in some foods such as bone broth, chicken skin, slow cut meats. Magnesium, really good for recovery, sleep, and muscle function. So I take magnesium. I'm not going to say I take it every single night, but I find when I take magnesium, maybe before a long run or maybe before a race, it just really does promote really good sleep. And before a race day, sometimes you're a little bit nervous and maybe you wake up a few times. I find taking magnesium just makes it easier to get back to sleep. It's also meant to help with muscle soreness, so it can actually, stem off those DOMs you may feel if you've done some kind of strength or core workout or a particularly hard run. It's meant to keep those DOMs away. Spinach, black beans, and dark chocolate are also a good source of magnesium. So don't think you have to take tablets. You can find it in good whole foods as well. So when you run, especially in hot and humid weather, you don't just lose water when you sweat, you lose sodium, potassium, magnesium. So using electrolytes is a no-brainer. These will quickly replenish all of those important electrolytes and ions in your body. So I use electrolytes pretty much on every single run. So if I'm running outside, whether it's an easy run, tempo run or a long run, I always make sure that I have in my running belt an electrolyte drink. I like the taste, but I know it's replenishing all of that sweat that I'm losing. Obviously I run in hot and humid weather all year round. They can actually prevent cramping as well, and they're also known to speed up recovery. So you've had a long, hard run, taking electrolytes during the run and afterwards can actually help you speed up the recovery process. And if you don't fancy taking a dedicated electrolyte drink or a salt tablet drink, you can find it in many whole food forms such as pickles, watermelons, coconut water, salted potatoes and leafy greens. Carbohydrates are your fuel, especially for long runs and marathons. So for me, any long run that's going to take longer than an hour and a half, I use carb mix powder. Obviously we know we can get carbohydrates in plenty of foods, including pizza, pasta, rice, bananas, breads, etc, etc. So I usually take it with 500 milliliters of water, and I think this one gives me 107 grams of carbohydrates. So a day before a long run, taking one of these really does set myself up for that long run. And during races, especially marathons, instead of taking energy gels, which I think are quite difficult to carry, and my stomach can't handle any more than 3 or 4 energy gels, and it lasts me for, I'd say, about 2 hours. So every 30 minutes I'll take a sip, which is going to give me 33, 35 grams of carb. Maybe you're doing a 20, 25, 30 kilometer long run and you know you need a certain amount of grams of carbs. I just find using carb mix drinks a lot easier, a lot quicker than eating all the foods. So in this tub is probably the supplement that I couldn't live without. It's protein, in particular protein powder. So I usually consume 50 grams of this powder after every run, whether it's an easy run, a hard run or a long run. And obviously protein is there to help build and repair your muscles after a hard running session. Obviously it's better to get it in foods such as eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, lentils. But when you don't have enough protein in your diet, protein powder is really handy, really convenient. So after every long run, I mix it with maybe almond milk, I maybe put a banana in there and some honey, and then I mix it up in the blender. And because I run 5 days a week, it just really helps my body prepare itself for the next run the next day. So protein powder is probably the supplement that I wouldn't live without. And on the days where I've skipped or missed taking protein, I really do notice the difference. I feel a little bit lethargic, a little bit sluggish, a little bit sore from the previous day's run. So they're the supplements that I take for my running. I'm really interested to hear from you. Do you take supplements? If so, which ones? And what benefits do they give you to your running journey? Let me know down below in the comments, and let's share some good running practices, some good running nutrition and supplements.